we're finishing late night, Toronto. Let's go just wake up, pray Fajr, and just walk Niagara Falls, and I'll go to the airport. That morning, I woke up and subhanAllah, with just a handful of brothers, we went walking. We bumped into someone I was thinking about, just walking Niagara Falls with his coffee, a sheikh that I hadn't seen for so long, and I was thinking about recently. I said, subhanAllah, what are the chances? And it felt like strolling through Jannah and bumping into someone that you haven't seen for such a long time, and the joy that you feel, the happiness that you feel when you bump into someone like that. And I said, Allahu Akbar, this is amazing. Walk a little bit further. If any of you have ever been to Niagara Falls, it's really a stunning scene of Allah's beauty in His creation. And I mean, I love water, I love nature, and I'm just sitting there looking at it. And the message comes that Shaykh Yusuf al-Qaradawi rahimahullah passed away. And I said to myself, subhanAllah, may Allah Azza wa Jal have mercy on him, a great scholar of this deen that passed away. And then we started to remember a brother, Shaykh Muhammad al-Sharif rahimahullah ta'ala, a dear friend of mine. And the brothers that were with me started to remember the last time. They said, last time we came to Niagara Falls, we were with him. And we're talking about him, and then we're seeing these birds flying around the riverbanks and dropping and just taking a few sips and plucking and then going back. And I remember the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ about the souls of the believers being in the bodies of green birds. Some of the scholars said is khas l-shuhada, is specific to the martyrs. Others said no, this is for the believers, the righteous souls, flying in the bodies of green birds that you and I cannot conceive of, and drinking from the riverbanks of paradise during the day and eating from its fruit, and then returning back to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them of their place until the day of judgment, until they are resurrected. And it reminds us that we're just in transition, and the person that you're sitting next to, you might have a story with a few decades from now, or maybe a few lifetimes, or 2 lifetimes to be specific, the hayat of al-barzakh, and then Jannah, paradise afterwards. You might have a story with that person one day, and we're in this journey of transition together. And I shared with Sheikh Harun, I guess this is a chance for me to just pivot right into my talk, ghuraba, the concept of strangers. There's something that I noticed about this hadith recently that I hadn't noticed before when I teach about this hadith about the strangers, which is that it seems very intentional that the Prophet ﷺ said strangers and not stranger, ghuraba and not gharib, ghuraba and not gharib, tuba lil ghuraba, glad tidings to the strangers. And that is that while what we adhere to in La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah, and of the principles and the purpose that we inherit with that call that we adhere to, that is at the center of our existence as human beings. Allah has blessed us that in every generation there will be other people that are grounded in that purpose, probably better than you, that you can aspire to be like and be with and cling together with, that you're not a stranger alone, but we're strangers, ghuraba, because in every generation there are groups of people. And Allah emphasizes the groups of people in the plural. فَلْتَكُنْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ. Let there be amongst you a group of people that enjoin good and forbidden evil and believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. فِي كُلِّ قَرْنٍ مِنْ أُمَّتِي سَابِقُونَ. In every generation of my nation, the hadith in Abu Nu'aym, there are forerunners, not just one mujaddid. Everyone looks around and says, who's the Salahuddin of this era? Who's the mujaddid? Who's the reviver? في كل قرن من أمتي سابقون. Some of the explainers of that hadith says, أي مجددون. There are people who revive, groups of people that revive in every generation. There are forerunners. There are classes of people in every generation. There is so much emphasis on the group. وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. You can't do it alone. Cling together and establish the truth amongst yourselves. Cooperate in good and keep each other patient, keep each other resilient. And you know what, it dawned upon me, it was really interesting. I had a very respectable teacher reach out to me, and this person he's a great teacher, he's someone I hold in high esteem. And he reached out to me, and I was surprised that he was reaching out to me. I assumed he was reaching out to me because he needed something from me, because I consider myself a student of him. And so when I saw his missed call, I immediately called him back, and I was, like, I hope everything is okay. And he said, no, I was just thinking about you. I was like, huh? Like, what? You were just thinking about you. And he said, yeah, I mean, has everything been okay? Is everything all right? I'm a little worried about you. And look, it's okay if you feel like there is kathratul a'da, if you feel like there are multiple enemies, there are too many enemies, know that you also have ashab. You have companions too. And the Sahaba were Sahaba to one another, not just Sahaba to the Prophet ﷺ. Like they drew from each other's strength. So I just wanted you to know, I'm here for you. I said, that's so beautiful, subhanAllah. We all need ashab because we all have a'da. That's what he said. We all need companions because we all have enemies. We all have people that hate. We need people that love as well. We have that group of people. And that's a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah has given us an example of ghuraba, a textbook example of incredible human beings that walked the same earth that you walked, that breathed the same air that you breathed, that were as human as you, and that have left behind clear guidance that gives you a roadmap of striving until the last breath that you take on this earth. I want you to appreciate for a moment that in this land, there were very likely anbiya at some point, prophets at some point before the Prophet ﷺ.